So we are in Beitzah, first chapter, Mishnah Hey, fifth Mishnah. Mishnah zo, this Mishnah, בא ללמד, comes to teach us, בדברים שהיה ראוי לעשרם ביום טוב, in things that actually should be forbidden to do on Yom Tov. אלא שהותרו, but they were permitted according to the system of Beit Hillel. Beit Shammai still prohibits them, but Beit Hillel permits it, and the halacha is usually like Beit Hillel, so these are permissible things. And why did they permit it, even though they're not supposed to permit it? Because it says, even though you're not supposed to do it, mishum simchat Yom Tov. It says in Yom Tov, a person is supposed to be in a state of joy, and if you take it away from the Jews, they're not going to be in a state of joy, so therefore we let you do it. So let's see what they are. Beit Shammai Omrim, the house of Shammai says, En mesalkim et atrisim biyom tov. You're not allowed to take away the twisin. We're going to see what twisin are soon. In Yom Tov. What are twisin? Trisin and nizkarim kan, the trisim that we mentioned over here, hainu dlatot, they are doors, שסוגרים בהם פתחי תיבות וארונות, that you close with them the openings of trunks, that you have in the old time, or cupboards that you had in, but they're not permanent on it.
It's like you put it in.
It's like you put it in, that's right. It's like a twist.
Piece of board.
Like a piece of board, that's right. That's it, an altar. Now, there's a difference between, we already learned this by Shabbos, if doors to the house or doors to cabinets. Over here we're talking about doors to cabinets, not doors to the house. Different rulings. Yeah, doors to the cabinets. When you are taking it and closing the cabinet, it's like you're completing it. You're making, it's a construction, or the opposite of construction. Yeah? שסוגרים בהם תיבות וארונות, וסוברים בית שמאי, and בית שמאי hold, שאסור לסלק את התריסין מעל פתחי תיבות או ארונות ביום טוב. משום שנראה כסוטרי. So you're not allowed to do it. Let's take practically.
You can take it off or you can put it in.
Both. Either way. So today there's hardly any things like this. But remember, space was big commodity in the old time. They lived in very small rooms. So everything had 12 uses. So for example, you had a cupboard. The cupboard was also a table. You would take part of the cupboard down, this part, and put it flat and put it a stand over there, and it will become a table. So that thing, so in other words, you're changing it from one state to another state. So Beit Shammai said, it looks like you're building now. Before you didn't have a table, now you do have a table. It's like you're building a table. We don't allow you to do that on Yom Tov. Right? Okay. Ubeit Hillel. Maybe you're right. Maybe right. Let's see. אסור לסלק את התריסים על פתחי התיבות ואת הרון ביום טוב, משום שיעשה. So according to Beit Shammai, they're not allowed to take off, but you're allowed to put back, it looks like.
It doesn't make sense. It should be the opposite.
Because maybe it's the main use. The main use is a cabinet. Don't make from the cabinet a table.
Because you complete it now.
Yeah.
Now it's a cabinet.
Yeah, it's a cabinet. I think maybe that's what it is.
Okay.
Maybe. Okay? ובית הלל מתירים אף להחזיר. And Beit Hillel says you can take it off, you can put it on, you can do whatever you want. You can turn a cabinet into a table into a cabinet, whatever you want. אין צורך לומר שמותר לסלק את התריסים. It says for sure you're allowed to break the cabinet to make it into a table. So-called break. Yeah? כדי להוציא מהתיבות ומהארונות צרכי אוכל נפש ביום טוב, because you want to take from it the things that you need. It was closed. I need some stuff over there. It's not like it's not like today that it's connected, with hinges. There's no hinges over there in all times. I mean, they did have something with hinges, but most of the thing it was just exactly. אלא אפילו להחזיר את התריסים למקומם מותר. Even to rebuild the cabinet, they allow you. שאם לא יתירו לו להחזירם, משום שנראה, it says, The truth is that you should only be allowed to take stuff out. You need something from the cabinet, you can break the cabinet to take the food out. Now you don't need the food. Why are you building? It's not for food. So it says, I'll tell you why we allow you. I'll tell you why we allow you to return it, because it's not for food. And we don't allow you to work not for food. Because it says, if we want to allow you, you will not come to take the food out. And you're not going to enjoy the Yom Tov with the nice spices, for example. In other words, the reason why we allow you that, because we know your mindset. Why
they allow you to put it back?
Because if you will not allow you to put it back, you might not take the spices out and put it on your steak, because you are going to say, I'm not allowed to put it back and I need the space. So because of that later on they know that you're going to do it, and if you not let you might not spice and we want you to have joy in Yom Tov. So you might not come to spice your steak, therefore we will let you even to put it back, even though you're not supposed to. That's Beit Hillel says. Even though you're not supposed. The true we agree with Beit Shammai. You know.
You have a table to eat on.
Oh, let's say it's not a table. It's just the door.
Okay.
Yeah. I just said practically that's what you usually used to do. Okay. שאם לא יתיר לו להחזירם, that if they not permit them to return it, לא ירצה לסלקם, he will not want to remove them. וימנע משמחת יום טוב, and then he's not going to have joy of Yom Tov. And we prefer for him to have joy of Yom Tov than the gzeira, than the decree that you're not allowed to build. And over here, it's not actually building. We're going to see. It's not actually, it's the nir'ah kebone. It looks like building. If it was real building, we will not allow you for sure. But just because it looks like building, we will not allow you. בגמרא בברורה, the Gemara goes deeper into this. שאם יש לתריסים ציר מן הצד, that if these cabinet doors have a hinge from the side, אף בית הלל מודה שאסור להחזירם, משום שדומה לבניין. It says, even Beit Hillel says you're not allowed to put them back, because
Hinge from a side like this?
I don't think it's like their hinges was like, it was like a hole, and you put a piece of round wood into it. You know, so it's very, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like primitive. Yeah, I don't think it's talking about our hinges today.
It's not a regular door.
Yeah. ויש מבארים הטעם, and there are those who says, גזרה שמא יתקעם במקבת ובגרזן. This is the hinge. You remember, it has a hole, and you might take a hammer to put it good inside. The wooden stuff into the hole. Yeah? או שמא יתקע בציר מסמר או יתד כדי לחזקו. Maybe you're going to put in the hinge, it's like some nail or something else in order to put them strong. וכיוון שאסור להחזירם, אסור אף לסלקם. And since you're not allowed to return them, then you're not allowed to take them. שאין אדם מסלק את התריס, אלא אם כן מתרים לו החזרתו, because you're not allowed to, a person is not going to take it off if you're not going to permit him to put it back on. ואם אין לתריסים ציר כל עיקר, but if these cabinet doors have no hinges, אף בית שמאי מודים שמותר להחזירם אפילו בפתח של בית. Then there's no hinges at all. Even Shammai says you're allowed to return them because it's not really building. It doesn't look like building. לא נחלקו בית שמאי ובית הלל, אלא בתריסים של תיבות וארונות שיש להם ציר באמצע. A whole complicated thing. The only argument is where is the hinge? Is the hinge in the middle? If it's in the side, they both agree that you're not allowed to. It's only when the hinge is in the middle, that's where the disagreement appears. היינו שיוצאות באמצע התריס שתי יתדות, that they take out in the middle of this door, there's two, like, how you say yetad in English? Like a piece of wood, like a pin, like a piece of wood, like a pin. אחת למעלה ואחת למטה. One up, you know, you put one into the door over here and one down. It's like a pin up and a pin down.
That was the hinge.
Yeah, and that's the hinge, that's right. And that's called the hinge. It's not really a hinge, it's a locking system. Yeah. But it can also be a hinge because it can turn the door, yeah. ויש בפתח התיבה או הארון שני נקבים כנגד אותם היתדות. In the opening of the cabinet, there's two holes against these two pins. וכשסוגרים מכניסים שני היתדות באותם הנקבים. And when you close, you put the pins inside to lock it in. שלדעת בית שמאי גוזרים בתריסים שיש להם ציר בהם. So according to the house of Shammai, you make a decree in a trisim that has this, in the doors that has these pins in the middle, משום שתריסים שיש להם ציר מן הצד. Even though in the middle you're supposed to. But once we allow you in these ones, you think the other ones are also allowed. So therefore Beit Shammai says, because of the other ones, we say nothing is allowed. ובית הלל סוברים שאין גוזרים ומתירים אף להחזיר. And בית הלל says, no, we are not going to learn one type of hinge to another type of hinge. So they both agree that if the hinge is in the middle, you're allowed to. Beit Shammai says, even though it's allowed to, we're not going to allow you to, because people are, once we allow you this one, you'll think the other one will also be allowed. And then it's problematic. And again, why does Beit Hillel allows it? He doesn't make it say. Again, Kadesh lo yimna b'schat Yom Tov says Beit Shammai is more correct logically. Because once you make a decree overboard. Yeah. So, but Beit Hillel says it's true that once you make a decree on Yom Tov, but over here because of Yom Tov, because you're supposed to have joy in Yom Tov, we're not going to apply it overboard. Even though usually, you're right guys, Beit Shammai, you should apply it overboard. But not over here because of Yom Tov. We're not going to apply it overboard. Okay. Moshe be'arnu le'in. Okay. Next one. Beit Shammai omrim, the house of Shammai say, en notlim et ha'ali. You're not allowed to take the ali. Now, what's the ali? Glil etz, it's a piece of wood, kaved, shekotshim bo b'machteshet dvarim she'asur lekatsham b'yom tov. It's like a pestle. You know, like one of those that you break things down. Asur litlo b'yom tov. So maybe it's not a pestle. It looks like a cutting board, like an eclise, one of those things, a butcher block, I think so. I don't know. It's a piece of wood that and again, you have to remember the mindset. We have a tool for everything. They had one tool that they used to use it for 50 things. It's the same thing. The door, they also used to use as a butcher block. They used to use it for... Everything was multi-purpose. Not like today, that we have a tool for everything. Yeah? So just have this in mind. I'm not exactly sure what is this ali, but never mind. But it says you're not allowed to use it, even for what? Afilu liktzov alav basar. Even you're not allowed to use it as a butcher block, for any reason. Lachtoch alav basar. Shehu davar mutar b'yom tov. He says, what do you mean? You're allowed to chop wood on a Yom Tov, and this is a tool for chop. It is also a tool for chopping wood. Sho'ilu melachto shel ha'ali le'isur rei u'muktzeh. But the usual way that you would use it, in other words, it had a first use and a secondary use. So the Beit Shammai, he says, we're going to go after the first use, and even though it has a secondary use, we're not going to allow you to use for it. If the first use is not for food, it's for something else. Let's say the first wood, it was a counter, or it was a piece of the back of the counter. It was a piece of the cabinet, and you put it down, and then you chop woods. But the main use was that it's a piece of the cabinet. We're not going to allow you to use it as a secondary use for something else, even though you might use it sometimes. That's not the main use of it.
It's like you're building a new object.
That's right, according to Beit Shammai. It says, we're going to only permit you to use it as the main use. I don't know what the main use was. It says the main use was to grind stuffs. Yeah. Ubeit Hillel, I'm not quite, no, I know what the main use is. I don't know how you grind stuff with a piece of wood. Ubeit Hillel matirim. Beit Hillel says, we're allowed you to use it as a secondary use. Liktzov alav basar b'yom tov, to chop on it meat on Yom Tov. שאף על פי שמלאכתו לאיסור, because even though this is usually used for a purpose that is not allowed to use in Yom Tov, מכל מקום מותר לטלטלו ביום טוב לצורך גופו. Nevertheless, we're allowed to remove it, use it in Yom Tov for something else. וכל שכן יש להקל כאן משום שמחת יום טוב, and over here, because of שמחת יום טוב, in order to chop the wood, I can use it. Don't tell me I cannot use it. והרב ברטנורה כותב, the Rabbi Bartenura says, שבית הלל מתירים משום שמחת יום טוב, אף על פי שאין תורת עליו כלי. בית הלל טוב, for יום טוב, it's true, it's not called the keli for יום טוב, it's a vessel that you're not allowed to use in יום טוב, its purpose not in יום טוב, but you're allowed to use it because of Simchas Chag, the joy, the idea of the joy. Okay. Next one. Oh, this is an interesting part. So we said you're allowed to shecht in Yom Tov. And remember, people were not like today, they shecht and they throw half. Today we shecht an animal and we throw 90% of it away. We don't need it. In the old time, you used every part of the animal. So when you shecht in Yom Tov, you wanted the hide. You wanted the hide for after Yom Tov. And you wanted the skin. The skin. You're not going to just throw away your skin. It's $200, $300. Nobody's going to throw it away. There was no such concept. So there's a process that you have to do to the skin immediately after you kill the animal. If you're not going to do it, the skin is going to get not good. So the problem is now you're going to shecht an animal on Shabbos, and now you want to prevent this meat, this skin from getting spoiled. So what's the first thing you have to do it? Immediately after you shecht the animal, you have to make sure that the skin doesn't become rough. In other words, you have to move it constantly. It has to be moved. If it's not moved constantly, it's going to become, I don't know what the problem is, but it's going to have some problem. It's not going to be good skin and you'll have to throw it away. So what did the people used to do in the old time? They used to put it as a doormat almost. Right next to the door, so that when people will walk out, in and out of the place, you put it in a place where a lot of people walk. So that people will constantly walk upon it. Yeah? So that's what he's going to do over here. It says, are you allowed, I know you shechted the animal. You shechted the animal for food. That you're allowed to. But now you're allowed to put the skin in the place that people walk. And now they walk on it on Yom Tov, and it's not for the purpose of food. It's for the purpose to make sure to save the skin. That's the question. Okay? So Beit Shammai Omrim, the house of Shammai say, Ein notnim et ha'or lifnei hadarsan. You don't put the skin of the animal after you shecht it before the place where you step on it. Behema shenishcheta, an animal that was slaughtered, והופשט אורה ביום טוב, and you took the hide off on Yom Tov, אסור ליתן את האור במקום שידרסו עליו רבים. You're not allowed to put the hide in a place where everybody steps on it. כדי שלא יתקלקל בינתיים, so that meanwhile it's not going to get spoiled. לפי שנראה כי מתכוון לאבד את האור. It says, look, what are you doing? It's like you're working on Yom Tov, not for the purpose of Yom Tov. שדריסת הרגל היא תחילת עיבודו. Because that's the way they used to start the process of hide making, by making people walk on it. That was the beginning of the process. ולא יגביהנו, and you're not allowed to pick it up, לטלטלו לאחר שהופשט מן הבהמה. It says, the skin itself, it says, it's completely muktzeh. That's it, you can't use it. You can't eat it. Cannot be used for Yom Tov, so don't even touch it. Forget about not taking it and putting it to the people who walk. He says, you're not even allowed to touch it like this. You're not allowed to move it. It has no purpose for Yom Tov. לפי שהוא מוקצה. So it says, but even Beit Shammai could do something. So Beit Shammai was also knew that, what, are you crazy? People are not going to shecht animals otherwise. So what are you going to do? So Beit Shammai says, cut it in such a way that you leave meat on the skin. Don't cut all the meat off. So then you're allowed to move it because you want the meat. And then, but you cannot put it in a place where people walk. That still disallows you. But at least you can move it because there's a piece of meat, because you don't want to leave it in the middle of the, I don't know where you shechted the animal. It's going to get spoiled for sure. So even according to Beit Shammai, there's a way to kind of save the hide. Not completely. It's still not going to be best quality hide, because you let it sit. Yeah, I'm not sure it's going to be 100% fakakt, but it's for sure it loses value. Let's put it this way. For sure it will lose its value. I don't know how much of the value. Ela, so Beit Shammai says, אם כן יש עמו כזית בשר. Leave on it a little bit of flesh, and then you'll be able to move it, and then it's not going to get spoiled. You can hang it somewhere, so not the other animals will not get to it, or whatever it is. שמותר לטלטל את האור אגב הבשר. That you're allowed to move the flesh because of the meat. And you see the logic of Beit Shammai is solid logic. Yeah, it's not for food, therefore don't touch it. Beit Hillel are going to allow you to touch it. Again, why? Because it says it's going to, if we won't allow you to touch it, it will prevent you from shechting on Yom Tov. People are not going to shecht. And we want people to have joy of Yom Tov. So we will let you do it.
Your wife is going to come and say, Shechting comes. I'm not shechting.
That's right.
$300?
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Why don't I throw away $300? Forget about it. ובית הלל מתירים, בית הלל permitted, לטלטל את האור אף בלא כזית בשר. He permits to take the flesh even without the meat, ולשטחו, and also to put it, people will walk on it. Even that he permits it. במקום שרבים ידרסו עליו. Says you're even allowed to start to walk on it. Because people are not actively working on it. It's by the way. It's by the way. It's not. It's
meaning.
Yeah. They're just going in and out of the house. Exactly. It's not work really, but it's kind of. ומבואר הטעם בגמרא, and the Gemara explains, שאם לא יתירו לו לטלטל ולשלוח את האור, בית הלל says, if you're not going to permit the Jewish people to do that, לא ישחוט אותם ביום טוב, then people are not going to have good food on Yom Tov. They're not going to shech the animals on Yom Tov. And we want them to have good meat on Yom Tov. כדי שלא להפסיד את האור, people are not going to want to do it because they're going to lose the skin. וימנע משמחת יום טוב. And then he's not going to have the joy of Yom Tov. בית הלל is into the שמחת יום טוב. בית שמאי אומרים, בית שמאי says, אין מוציאים ביום טוב לא את הקטן. בית שמאי says, you want to go to shul on Yom Tov? Your wife says, you're not leaving the kids with me? Take the kids with you. The kid is small, he cannot walk to shul. So, carry him. So I was carrying him on Yom Tov. Says, you're not allowed to carry. Why, is food? Is he food? Why are you carrying him for? Why are you carrying him? You tell your wife, here, take the baby. I can't carry him to shul. Forget about it. It's not allowed. Can't carry him on Yom Tov unless it's for Yom Tov. This is not for Yom Tov. לא את הקטן, it's a בית שמאי says, you're not allowed to move, not the baby, ילד קטן. Not the lulav. You're not allowed to take the lulav to shul. Says, you want to do the mitzvah? Do it at home. Who allows you to carry the lulav to shul? Who allows you? The mitzvah is to shake the lulav. You can shake. There's no mitzvah to shake the in halal, the lulav. So it's not a mitzvah. The mitzvah is done in the morning. It says, do it at home, and that's it. Who gives you permission? You want to have your davening better? That's it. If the mitzvah is done, you're not, I'm sure it's better, but you did the mitzvah, you're done. Just because you want something better, you're not allowed to. Lo et lulav, you're not allowed to take the lulav. And lo et sefer Torah, and even if there's sefer Torah, you don't have sefer Torah in shul, it is at home, you're not allowed to carry your sefer Torah to shul. Yeah, not allowed to. אף על פי שיש בהם צורך מצווה. Even though all three, the small baby, the lulav, the sefer Torah, you're carrying them for what? You're carrying them for a mitzvah. Even for the sake of a mitzvah, you're not allowed to do it. לרשות הרבים. Where you're not allowed to do it? To the public domain. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, in between, maybe we'll allow you, it's in the Rabbanan. But for the public domain, for sure not. שלדעת בית שמאי, according to בית שמאי, לא הותרה הוצאה מרשות לרשות ביום טוב, you're not allowed to take from one domain to another domain יום טוב, אלא לצורך אוכל נפש בלבד. It's only allowed to take food from one. ובית הלל מתירים. And again, בית הלל comes and says to בית שמאי, we're going to permit it. Says, why? להוציא מרשות לרשות ביום טוב. To take out from one domain to another ביום טוב, שסוברים הם, because this is what they say. Once you don't have prohibition on carrying food, there's no prohibition on other things of mitzvahs also. If there's no prohibition of carrying food, there's no prohibitions for performing a mitzvah. Beit Hillel say the permission to carry food is only for food. It's not for mitzvahs. Beit Hillel says it's for mitzvahs, not for other things. For your own personal use, we won't let you. But for a mitzvah, we let you.
They say it's for a mitzvah if it's only for food.
So Beit Shammai says, once we are permitting you once God permitted you, so for
nefesh.
ochel nefesh, he says for any mitzvah he permitted it also. We're going to carry it on.
Means a mitzvah.
No, it doesn't mean it's a mitzvah.
It's a mitzvah לאכול ביום.
Oh, so it's something like that, yeah. But still, ochel nefesh doesn't mean mitzvah. It's a category within mitzvahs. Yeah, it's
one of the mitzvahs.
so it says once you permit it a little bit, we're going to permit it not all the way, but more of the way. They both this. If it's not a mitzvah, also Beit Hillel says you're not allowed to do it. So you see, Beit Hillel says we'll permit you to do mitzvahs with it, even though it's not for food. But we won't permit you just for, if it's not a mitzvah, we will not permit you to do it. והם, let's look at the words he's saying. מתוך שהותרה הוצאה לצורך אכילה, it says once God permitted you to take food for eating, to carry food for eating, הותרה גם שלא לצורך אכילה. Once it's permitted even not for eating. But only what? דווקא דברים שיש צורך מצווה. Only things that you're doing for God is permitted, not things you're doing for you. כגון לולב וספר תורה, לולב and ספר תורה, yeah, we allowed you. Why are you taking it to shul? You're taking it to shul for yourself? No, you're taking it to shul for mitzvah. It's for God. או שיש בהם צורך הנאה. Or things that you can enjoy because of simcha. כגון, קטן לטיול. You're taking the small baby not to shul because the shul is not going to enjoy. Yeah, you're allowed to carry the katan in order to not just walk in the forest, whatever. או צורך שימושי, or for example use, like we said, כגון מפתח ביתו, the keys for his house. You want to use the house? Again, preventing joy. Don't prevent joy for me. כל אלו מותר לדעת בית הלל. According to בית הלל, all these are permissible. להוציאם מרשות לרשות, to take them from one domain to another domain. אבל דבר שאין בו צורך כלל בכל יום טוב, but if there's no need for it at all, I don't know, a person wants to carry a stone from one place to another. כגון הוצאת אבנים וכיוצא בזה, like, I don't know, I want this stone to be over there now, whatever the reason is. אף בית הלל מודים שאסור להוציאו מרשות לרשות ביום טוב. Even בית הלל permits, we're going to allow you for a mitzvah or for the joy of Yom Tov, but we won't allow you to do anything. In other words, it looks from here, yeah, that carrying on Yom Tov is not as simple as we make it.